Then Professor Mutharika orders a fresh investigation into the plane crash that occurred at Tungwa Forest in Chikangawa that killed Dr. Saulos Chilima and others. The Minister of Finance, Joseph Mwanamveka, hints that the 2026-2027 national budget will advance a reform agenda of continued macroeconomic stability. And now the news in detail. Peace Parks Foundation, a non-profit organization dedicated to creating and managing transfrontier conservation areas in Africa, has appointed His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, President of the Republic of Malawi, as the foundation's honorary patron. Conveying the message of appointment, His Excellency Mr. Joaquim Chissano, former President of the Republic of Mozambique, and the foundation's Vice President, stated that the appointment is in recognition of President Mutharika's distinguished leadership and unwavering commitment to sustainable development, regional cooperation, and ecological resilience. Founded in 1997 by the late Dr. Anton Rupert, President Nelson Mandela, and Prince Bernhard of the Netherlands, Peace Parks Foundation continues to champion conservation and regional integration across Africa. We warmly congratulate His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika and wish him every success as he undertakes this noble responsibility. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika has directed Parliament to constitute an ad hoc committee to lead a fresh investigation into the plane crash that occurred at Tungwa Forest in Chikangawa. Minister of Justice Charles Mhango disclosed this in Parliament when he made a statement in response to Mwanza Central Parliamentarian Felix Njawala, who inquired about the progress of investigation into the matter. Mhango observed that the initial investigations, including a report by a commission of inquiry instituted by the former president, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, were hushed up and lacked the depth required to tackle critical issues. Details in this report by Trust Office.
The death of the then Vice President, Dr. Saulos Chilima, and 8 others in a plane crash on 10 June 2024 stirred questions that remain unanswered even after former President, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, instituted a commission of inquiry to investigate the circumstances that led to the crash. Minister of Justice Charles Mhango pointed out that there were a number of gaps that were not covered by either the commission of inquiry or the German-based BFU reports.
President, that time on 25th October of 2024, gave the committee of commission of inquiry only 30 days. So there was no time. It worked under panic, and when it came to evidence, the report itself says a lot of people were reluctant to testify for whatever reasons. No reasons are being given. Some people are running away from testifying, and in my view, even the members of the commission of themselves, I have identified the 2 who resigned. In the middle of the investigations, they resigned.
UTM Chief Whip in Parliament, Felix Njawala, who asked the question understanding Order 69, expressed satisfaction with the government's position and response on the matter.
And today we've been vindicated because the minister also highlighted that in the inquiry reports there are some gaps. That's exactly what we have been saying. Now we are glad that there will be another inquiry, giving the powers to Parliament to conduct that inquiry. For us, that is commendable.
The Parliament-led Commission of Inquiry, which is expected to commence once Parliament completes setting up the relevant committees and procedures, is also expected to rope in both local and international experts versed in plane crash investigations. Trust Office, MBC News, Lilongwe.
The Minister of Finance has tasked Parliament to institute an ad hoc committee that will investigate the dubious sale of Amaryllis Hotel. This follows a question from Ledzakasina parliamentarian Joshua Malango, who wanted to know the position of government on the matter. Minister of Finance Joseph Mwanamveka highlighted that government wants to promote transparency and accountability, hence the need for Parliament to intervene. Mwanamveka speaks to our reporter, Trust Office.
The government of Republic of Malawi is not happy with what has happened at the public sector pension fund. That's why we have mandated the Parliament, and anybody in Parliament can go and find out what has happened there, and they can come back here and do a report to this August people. We want Malawians to know exactly what happened. What happened there. That's what I think. That's why we are asking them to do so. In terms of who would do it, that will be the mandate of the Speaker to determine who's going to do the exercise. But for us, we are free because our President wants transparency in this matter, wants to make sure that those wrongdoers, the long arm of the law should take charge.
Government says it will strive to ensure that farmers in the country benefit from tobacco farming, a development expected to help drive the country's economy. Minister of Agriculture, Irrigation and Water Development, Rosa Fachimbelizi, made the remarks in Lilongwe during a two-day tobacco industry conference. Mandalito Mhango reports.
Minister of Agriculture, Rosa Fachimbelizi, says tobacco plays a critical role in driving the country's economy and generating forex. She said despite the crop's potential to transform the economy, the industry is still facing a number of challenges, including overproduction, a development she said contributes to depressed prices and increased carry-over stocks on the market. Mbilizi further expressed government commitments to ensuring that the livelihoods of smallholder farmers improve and that they fully benefit from the tobacco farming.
It is the mandate of the government, as directed by the President, Professor Thabita Mutharika, that the livelihood of our farmers has to improve, because we are going into commercialization and tobacco is very well commercialized. So we want the livelihoods of our farmers to improve, and that can only be done if the buyers buy all the tobacco that they commit to buy under contracts, and that is the mandate of my ministry, and we'll make sure that that is done.
The Tobacco Commission Board Chairperson, Reverend Timothy Nyasulu, said the conference will focus on areas that can help address challenges facing the tobacco market, including illegal vending, which he says undermines the industry and damages the country's reputation on the international market.
This year we want to be more serious, and all stakeholders should hold hands, that there should be no tobacco that would go out of the country to be sold in Zambia or other places, but should be sold within. If there are issues to do with the prices, we can always negotiate and make sure that the prices are conducive for both the buyer as well as the tobacco industry as well.
The Tobacco Industry Conference has brought together farmers, tobacco buyers, and other stakeholders. The conference is being held under the theme, Bridging the Gap in the Tobacco Industry for Sustainable Growth. Madalito Muhango, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Minister of Agriculture, Irrigation and Water Development, Rosa Fachimbelizi, says the 500 metric tons of fertilizer donation from the Kingdom of Morocco to Malawi is a timely and impactful contribution towards Malawi's fight against hunger. Mbilizi said this during the handover ceremony of the donation in Lilongwe. She said more than 2,000 farmers are expected to benefit from the donation. Catherine Banda has filed this report.
Minister of Agriculture, Irrigation and Water Development, Rosa Fachimbelizi, said following the erratic rains and natural disasters that some parts of the country experienced, government is going to distribute the fertilizer donation to areas that were affected by the disasters. She said government will ensure that the donation reaches the intended beneficiaries, especially farmer clubs, arguing that government is already aware of the affected areas and that proper measures to ensure timely provision of the fertilizer are already in place. Additionally, the minister said the donation demonstrates the cordial relationship that exists between Malawi and the Kingdom of Morocco and pledged to continue working together in various development areas.
As the President announced that there's a state of disaster in this country, they were one of the first governments to come to pledge their support in terms of fertilizer. So this is very timely, and we would like to thank the government and the people of Morocco. We already have the measures to ensure transparency, so the selection criteria is the same. We'll use this fertilizer in what we call cooperatives, like farmer clubs. So it's people that we know that already have farms, and it will be now government and not the way we deal with FISP.
Moroccan Kingdom Church Affairs, Mohammed Omia, said the donation aims at contributing towards strengthening Malawi's agriculture sector and that they are committed to having more engagements with Malawi in this sector for continued development.
It translates the vision of Majesty Mohammed VI, the King of Morocco, who is committed for solidarity between African countries.
According to Mbelizi, the 500 metric tons of fertilizer is the first consignment of the 1,000 metric tons pledged by Morocco, and the remaining 500 metric tons is expected to arrive in the country within 2 weeks. Catherine Banda, MPC News, Lilongwe.
This is the lunch edition of MPC News. A reminder of our top stories. Peace Parks Foundation, a non-profit organization dedicated to creating and managing transfrontier conservation areas in Africa, appoints President Professor Mutharika as honorary patron. President Professor Mutharika orders a fresh investigation into the plane crash that occurred at Tungwa Forest in Chikangawa that killed Dr. Saulos Chilima and others. The Minister of Finance, Joseph Mwanamveka, hints that the 2026-2027 national budget will advance a reform agenda of continued macroeconomic stability. Welcome back. The Minister of Finance, Decentralization and Economic Planning, Joseph Mwanamveka, has indicated that the upcoming 2026-2027 national budget will focus on restoring macroeconomic stability and reversing the decline in national exports. Mwanamveka was speaking at the launch of the World Bank's 22nd Malawi Economic Monitor, titled Getting Reforms Right. The minister is scheduled to officially deliver the 2026-2027 national budget statement to Parliament in Lilongwe this coming Friday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Details in this report.
Mwanamveka said the reforms will grow the economy by reinforcing fiscal discipline and setting a credible medium-term path toward a primary balance consistent with debt stabilization. He added that this will be underpinned by realistic revenue projections, restrained recurrent spending, and strengthened public investment management through tighter projection criteria. Mwanamveka has also indicated that the budget will carry a lot of incentives for industrial growth that should help increase exports and import substitution. Deputy Minister of Industrialization, Trade, Business and Tourism, Edgar Tembo, has pledged to create a conducive business environment.
We need to seriously deal with the issue of import substitution, where we can have a good number of products that should be ordinarily be made locally before we look at exporting. So there has got to be interventions in terms of policy and suitable tariffs that can be put in place to arrest this situation.
Meanwhile, the World Bank has commended government for initiating what it describes as important reforms towards stabilizing Malawi's macroeconomy. World Bank country manager for Malawi, Firaz Rad, said government has taken reforms to restore spending discipline, increase domestic revenues, and reprofile debt, among others. Rad said these will lower inflation rate, stimulate investment and exports, boost growth, and create jobs, among others, and believes the 22nd MEM will help government to make sure these reforms yield more results.
As we noted in our presentations, that the government has begun to take initiatives to try to restore macroeconomic stability. And as our title suggests, we believe that continuing the reform process is essential. It's not enough to do 1 or 2 or 3 different reform initiatives. It should be part of an overall reform process that is sustained, well sequenced and well communicated.
The Malawi Confederation of Chambers of Commerce and Industry, MCCCI President Wisely Piri, has also commended government on reforms such as reduced borrowing, saying banks are now advancing cheap financing to the private sector because government has reduced borrowing.
We've seen with what government is doing in taming some of the borrowing from the banks. We've seen how the banks moving into the private sector to say, can you come and we lend you the money? But at the rate where we are as of now, it's not something that someone that is doing business will be able to go into. But I think we just have to encourage government to stay course. We've already on the right track. We're now, for the first time, the banks are coming to the private sector. I think we're on the right track.
The 22nd Malawi Economic Monitor focuses on ensuring government reforms bear desirable fruits.
As secondary education is now free, Mzuzu-based educationist James Singini has advised organizations and individual wishers who are paying fees for needy students in secondary schools to continue through other ways like material support. Singini says there are some needy students who need learning materials to facilitate their studies. Musa Secheo has filed a report.
Before the introduction of free secondary education in public schools, some students were dropping out due to lack of school fees, while others were being sponsored by some well-wishers and non-government organizations. An educationalist, James Singini, says such individuals and organizations should continue with their role because needy students will need materials and other things.
I must implore or request such individuals or organizations that regardless that there is the introduction of free secondary education, they have to continue assisting these students with the learning materials. For a student to learn properly, there is need for learning materials as well that are supposed to be sufficient apart from the school fees itself. For example, students need books, they need writing materials, they also need to have uniforms. Those who are in boarding schools, they need pocket money and other basic requirements for them to learn properly.
Government introduced free education in public secondary schools, and those in boarding schools pay boarding fees only. Musa Secheo, MBC News, Mzuzu.
Authorities at Mangochi Secondary School say an annual average of 10 students were dropping out of school before the free secondary education policy was extended to secondary schools in the country. Head teacher for the school, Ishmael Mugadamika, told MBC that apart from students who could drop out after enrollment, approximately 20 other students were not able to show up after being selected to the school as a result of financial challenges. Francis Banda has filed this report, read by Owen Mavula.
Introduction of free secondary education in public institutions in the country is seen as a significant step towards improving access to education for students. This is because the initiative is easing family struggles to strike a balance between educating a child and meeting other equally pressing demands at household level. For many communities in Mangochi, the initiative is seen as a commitment by the government towards attaining inclusive education and national development because it's easing challenges such as removing financial barriers and reducing high dropout rates, particularly among girls. Speaking to MBC 7 weeks after government rolled out free secondary education, head teacher for Mangochi Secondary School, Ishmael Gadamika, hailed government for implementing the policy, noting that school fees payment was exerting a lot of pressure on students, especially those from low-income families, leading to poor performance and dropouts.
There were several challenges. One was to do with some disturbances. When the students were failing to pay these fees we are talking about, we could send the students back home to collect the said fees. And because of that, students were not concentrating much in their studies due to these breaks that they were experiencing. Those students who dropped out because of lack of fees, then they will come back. I also expect improved performance because of reduced pressure on part of the students.
Bertha Moyo and Felix Stephen, from 3 students at Mangochi Secondary School, told MBC in separate interviews that their school attendance had been on and off before free secondary education and have since commended government for the initiative.
In our family, we are 4 students in secondary, so my parents were failing to manage paying fees for all of us. So it reached the extent maybe of failing to maybe even to write examinations. So with this policy of free education, I'm very excited, and even my parents were very excited.
When it comes to Christ, most of the time I was stressed that I'm going to be chased out of school. I'm going to be chased out of Christ while my foreigners are still reigning in Christ. That will apparently make me fail exams. So it was really affecting me, really.
Available information indicates that in 2023, Malawi's overall dropout rate was around 4.3%, with secondary education reporting a 9.4% increase in 2024 compared to the previous year. In his State of the Nation address, President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika said currently 1,800 students who dropped out of school due to financial challenges have now returned to school.
Kobe Barracks 93 Brigade headquarters in Zomba has commended National Bank of Malawi for the donation of 6.4 million towards the Inter-Unit Sports Festival, which is currently underway in Zomba. Lieutenant Colonel Shaiko Kondowe, who represented the brigade commander, made the remarks at Kobe Barracks playground, where he disclosed that the festival will run for the whole week in preparation for the final games at MAFCO in Salima. Kondowe underscored the need of the sporting activities as it helps to interact with the community to foster good relationships and cooperation. The festival has drawn at least 8 battalions within Kobe Barracks.
These donations boost our athletes or football players. Just because you can see, we're going to have a lot of sports activities from today up to Friday. So after maybe winning, there's football, number one will be given something. So because of that, it motivates the players and even the athletes. So these donations really help in our sporting activities in the MDF headquarters. People, they think that MDF cannot associate with civilians, but we're also civilians. We're coming from where you're coming from. So it gives us also that power and also that chance to interact with you. So if there's anything, it's very simple, easy for you to communicate with us to know what is happening there. So it's also help, just because we have said we have to come together and interact. This is part of interaction. So it's also help.
In his remarks, Account Relationship Manager for Zomba National Bank Service Center, Saul Singano, observed that sports is a powerful tool in promoting health, teamwork, discipline, unity, and national pride.
At National Bank, we believe that sports is really a powerful tool for promoting well-being, health, teamwork, discipline, unity, and of course, national pride. So these are the values that we also at National Bank believe in. And when we are told that something like this is going to be happening here, we said, why not? Let's support them so that they can be motivated to actually promote these values which I've already underscored.
And that's the news for now. A recap of our top stories before we leave. Peace Parks Foundation, a non-profit organization dedicated to creating and managing transfrontier conservation areas in Africa, appoints President Professor Mutharika as honorary patron. President Professor Mutharika orders a fresh investigation into the plane crash that occurred at Tungwa Forest in Chikangawa that killed Dr. Saulos Chilima and others. The Minister of Finance, Joseph Mwanamveka, hints that the 2026-2027 national budget will advance a reform agenda of continued macroeconomic stability. Keep up to date with our news coverage on our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You are with me, Obile Kaisa. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.
Community Development College is pleased to announce the training opportunities for generic and weekend programs in the 2026-2027 academic year. Generic programs: Diploma in Community Development, Diploma in Social Work, Diploma in Agro-Food Processing, Diploma in Nutrition and Home Management, Diploma in Early Childhood Development, Diploma in Social Protection, Diploma in Adult Education, Certificate in Community Development, Certificate in Social Work, Certificate in Early Childhood Development, and Certificate in Nutrition and Home Management. Weekend programs: Diploma in Community community development, diploma in social work, diploma in nutrition and home management, diploma in early childhood development, certificate in community development, certificate in social work, certificate in early childhood development, and certificate in nutrition and home management. Candidates must apply by completing and submitting their application forms. Application forms can be obtained upon request by calling the college during working hours on 0991-201-342 or 0884-484-288 or from community development and social welfare offices in all district councils. Candidates are required to pay a non-refundable application fee of 20,000 kwacha. The application fee must be deposited in the college account. A duly completed application form together with a copy of certificate and the original bank deposit slip should be sent to the principal, Magomeni Community Development College, Private Back 3, Namadzi. Closing date for receiving applications is Friday, 27th February 2026.
What's your name? Gary, huh? It's my game.
We put everything into this. Those that can do it and succeed, how to fix it.
This city has been just a cookbook.